What's up, y'all? Big Red here, coming at you another Fallout 76 video on the channel. And the question is stealth dead? Stealth is back, baby, and it is back big time. It is one of the top builds you can have in Fallout 76. It is king and supreme. As we watch real quick the accumulation, as we go through some tests to determine what is the best stealth weapon, the best build. Chinese stealth armor versus covert scout armor. What is the best Elder's mark compared to the picture, the assault rifle, even the quad combat shotgun. Look at that, 2,600 on Earl. Look at those criticals. And if you combine take one for the team with your follow through, now we're getting 3756. That is insane. Look, we're over halfway, and it's not even 30 seconds. It is crazy the amount of damage we are getting from stealth now. It is definitely the OP build in Fallout 76. Now, I am sorry that I haven't made a video in a while. I've been doing a lot of testing, I've been working, but you know, I'm back, baby. 3,800, dude, that is sick. Totally, almost like old school style, being able to take Earl down and right at a minute. Yeah, stealth is back. And it can be used in most events, and when it can't be used, we'll even show you that too. We'll do the snake, we'll do a little bit of the guardian, we'll do a little bit of the titan, and we'll also do a little bit with neurological warfare and show you just even when you don't, your stealth can't work, and the events that it doesn't work for, what weapon will be the best when you're not getting your stealth bonus. But when you can get stealth bonuses, stealth is king at the moment, at least for this update. Since they nerfed the shredder, it is now the king for DPS. So thank you for my subscribers. Thank you for tuning and watching. Appreciate checking out the video. We'll go move the special loadout, the build, and everything as we get into it. And let's get right into some testing and see just what is the best stealth weapon. All right, sticking with Earl, we'll stick with the Furious with the conductors, but this one won't have to take one for the team. We got it prime, short light barrel, recoil, compensated stock, and a large quick jet drum, and the reflex sight, which lowers our AP cost against our magazine size up to 75. AP cost is a little high, 12, but it is manageable, especially with the conductors on. With all our low health, we'll be doing unyielding with covert scout with +2 agility, through hackers and limit breakers on the armor pieces. We'll go over, I'll show that more in detail later. All right, the buffs will be the same every run. We'll have a bobblehead small guns going, protected 20% turn ballistic. We'll have a guns and bullets 3 going with extra 100% crit damage. We'll also utilize our stat locks, and instead of it screwing us, we'll utilize it. We'll log in a place where we don't normally log into, and then we'll get our nerd rage at 80%, and then we'll have it the rest of our playthrough. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get 50%, but you know, a little extra damage. I mean, we're going max damage. You might as well get it and use it to your advantage, since most of the time it kind of screws you. So yeah, we'll have our nerd rage maxed out at 80%. We'll be doing a megavore, which is a herbivore and carnivore. We take both serums. Just because it's easy to get our buffs. We'll have blackout suits and give us 25 extra damage. You don't need it. Cut PT you do need, 25% AP regen. You need a crit buff for your blight soup, sweet leopard tea, steep pistol tea. You need something to max your AP out, even the infused soup flour or the steep melon blossom tea. And soap bean soup will give you 5 to your endurance. And the carnivore buffs that you really would like to use is cranberry meatball grinder, gives you 250 max to HP. Your peppermint will give you 8 to your endurance. Squirrel stick give you 8 to your agility. And you get some cherry weight with just slow play. The cooked soft shell meat will give you 50 to your max AP. Mountain jerky will give you some extra damage with this. That's why I like to mix match them, because it's easy to get those buffs from your camp as a carnivore, but you want to maximize, still get your crit buffs. And yeah, all you gotta do is take a carnivore and a herbivore serum. It's kind of a feature of the game. But in the game several updates, and it's still there. So we got adrenaline for more damage, with burr bones for more agility. We had carnivore, herbivore, we got the eagle eyes for extra crit damage, and egghead for extra intelligence, more XP, marsupial for jumping, speed demon for speed, for reloading, and electric shock and unstable isotope to kill little pesky things. So they're what we're running with. And the build is we're going to be utilizing our crippling mechanics and the bullet storm. We won't utilize the big guns because unless you're using a quad, because you're never going to get there. Keep it. So we do have bullet storm and lock and load to get those extra stacks, and we will be utilizing our nerd rage. We got a downranger whenever we do keep them a little distance. Sometimes we don't benefit from it, but it's better to have it and not need it, need to not have it. We got both our sneak bonuses from Mr. Sandman, covert operative, giving us more extra sneak. We also got better criticals, and we got quick hands to get a free reload. That way we can maximize our bullet storm. That way we can get that free reload, keep our stacks going. Now, I would normally take one for the team because it's inconsistent using it, trying to test and compare. We're not going to put it on there. That's why I did it for the first runs, to show you how powerful it can be. We take one for the team. We're just going to have our follow through and +5 legendary agility added onto our 15 agility to give us a bigger AP pool. And we'll go over more in detail at the end. If you're a newer player, have vets, then you probably don't need me to. We will utilize a hard lemonade whenever we run. It is a lemonade, but vodka gives you 30 to your max AP and an extra 10% to your AP regen, which gives you an extra 35 when you add it with company T, which is insane. By the time you reload, your AP is regen. So I do recommend it for boss fights. Very good buff to have, very easy to make. You can see we are just shredding him in pieces. I mean, look, 2609. That is an insane amount of damage. Look on Earl, 2600 crits on Earl damage. That's insane. There goes some quick hands helping us. 2754, and we are down over halfway at 30 seconds. It is a slaughter on Mr. Earl Williams. How you doing, Earl? Man, let's brush those teeth, Earl. Let's brush those teeth, Earl. Yeah, I like being a mega board because, like I was saying, because it's easier to get the carnivore buffs at your camp, and you still get your crit buffs, and you get maximized buff. I mean, it's in the game. I mean, but if you don't want to do that, then I would suggest being a herbivore. That way, you get your full crit buffs. Like I said, a little bit of advantage you do get is going to be having, your health and your carry weight. 2806. And a little bit more agility you can be as a carnivore. A minute 11:21. That is insane. That is like old school type of numbers there, right at a minute time. Very, very efficient, very powerful. Stealth is back, baby. It is back. All right, let's check out what it'll be if we use a pin pointers on there instead of a conductors. Now, this I would recommend with going low health, so you can use unyielding armor so you can get your AP up high enough with your unyielding armor, because you're going to need your AP up really high to be able to run this with a pinpointers and not have conductors on there. The AP costs are 12, and with that fire rate, it is super high. I forgot to put +5 agility on this one, but it's okay. We have enough AP to fire and empty the clip out, and by the time you reload with company T, your AP will be refreshed. You want to go this route because it does get more damage, and if your AP's up high enough, as long as your target's closer, with the snake, it's hard because his head's so far up, and so your critical hits are not landing quick enough. Even with your to refresh, even with conductors, much less a pinpointers. 28, so it's already getting higher than the starting higher. Now we're in the 3000s, 31, 33, so it's getting more damage than the conductors. As you can see, we're able to empty the whole drum out, and as soon as we empty it out, we have to reload, and by the time I reload, our AP's refreshed. That's company T, though. I mean, if you don't have it, it's easy to get. Go to a player's camp and get it. I mean, everybody has it, and most people don't leave it locked, because once you have a company T machine, it'll stay. You'll have so much company T, it'll just be coming out your ears. But so over 3,000 on the crits, super crazy. It is a valid option to go with using the pinpointers. 107, so it did have a little bit better time than the conductors. We didn't have to use any coffee. Of course, if you're going against like a snake, I would spam coffee at the beginning to see if to try to maximize it. It's a little bit harder when the targets are further away. All right, now let's see what a stalker what the quad will do. All right, here we are at the quad in all its glory. It's probably a fan favorite because of its large ammo capacity, 225. That is a lot to be able to hold. It's almost like having a heavy gun. And it allows us also to be able to work and bring the big guns so we can get more stacks, get up to 20 stacks instead of just 10. Only negative drawback is that it does take more AP because you got more bullets, whereas the Furious or another variant, you got 75. By the time you run out, you're able to let your AP refresh to catch up in your reloads. With this one, you're just going to have to pause for a minute when you go to run out of AP. But we are going to utilize lead billing. We have to take one off blocker and move it into so we can move around some points and bring the big guns. And then we take off starch jeans and put on lead billing. Without using coffee, the time on it is about, it was like 114, 113. So it's right there behind the Furious. It's just the pauses that you have to be able to use it because you run out of AP, makes it fall a little bit behind. But with coffee, it changes the whole ball game. So, like I said, definitely a fun weapon for events because like you put on gun fu with this and just you'll keep switch targets like infinitely. All right, we are utilizing stealth boys. It only takes one with the Elder's Mark, even though we got covert scout armor. It just helps us even stay more hidden since we're trying to get our damage with stealth. Makes us even more stealthy. And you can get them easily from the White Springs bunker. If you haven't done the mission to be a general, then you have to do that with the Enclave. 2548 what we're getting. So the damage is a little bit behind the Furious. And that's about as good as it'll get. It might get a little bit better. But look at the damage they're doing without having to reload. It is shredding through Earl. So it's getting a little bit less, but less reloads means there's less time waiting. And with spamming the coffee for the first 30 seconds, really gave us a big jump, a big kickstart. Took a big chunk off of his health. There, right there. So you just gotta let your AP refresh. If you got company T, it's not an issue. Boom, 101. So it had a better time than even with taking one for the team, using the Furious and trying to benefit from that bonus for taking one for the team whenever with spamming the coffee. Without spamming the coffee though, it would have been behind the Furious and still had a good time. It was still like 113, but we're not gonna show that. All right. Now, let's see if the Stalkers with the extra 100% sneak damage will do any better. All right, here we are at the Stalkers, the rework, extra 100% sneak damage. Sounds like it's a really good effect. You know, it is a good rework from the old Stalkers. It is more usable. How will it stack versus, the Quad or the Furious? Well, we'll find out. Let's go see Mr. Earl. And Mr. Earl is probably the best test for stealth and tanky enough. The Guardian is so quick and really not much of a challenge with it. At least Earl gives us a little bit more meat to pick off the bone. All right, and when Earl is too, if you want to do this solo, you want to get him to where he's crippled right at the corner of the platform. You don't want to go past that corner, and you don't want to go to the other side either, because then the Wendigos will see you, and then they'll be stopping you and staggering you and getting your way. 24:58, so it's a little bit behind. The Quad was getting 25:30 to 25:50. But the Quad, like we had max stacks on it, right up to 20. I got that on purpose, wasted my bullets so I could make it to get the benefit of running the Quad. So yeah, it was getting close to 300 on its damage. It was getting like 75 more on the damage type. Right now, they're about even as far as the damage numbers, and the 2500s is what the Quad was getting, but with less reloads. And with the Quad, you also don't have to be in stealth. You can definitely, like I said, a great event weapon 2601, so it did get a little bit higher than the quad, but more reloads, less versatility. It's more. If it was getting more damage, I'd say it'd be worth it. If it was getting at least up close to the Furious, but it's not. At 115, that's not a bad time. Still a good time on Earl, but they don't have much versatility, so it's not a bad effect, but there's better effects you can have. All right, let's test the bloodied. Furious was outperforming the bloodied, even though the damage is way higher. The way the Furious is stacked up, it just always comes up higher. But let's see and make sure since this update that Furious is still outperforming the bloody. All right, let's take a vote. Let's bring bloody back. Make it worth playing buddy. Look, there's like a 88 difference in the points on the weapon card, which that don't mean anything. So, I mean, gotta take everything with a grain of salt. Even with these times, we will compare these ones that are close and do side-by-side comparison with them here in a minute. We got a couple more runs to do. We're gonna do a full health, and then we're gonna do a no 4-star run with the, on the Elder's Mark or with the armor. All right, here we go with the bloody. Everything, like I said, everything's modded the same way. Got all the same buffs. We just getting like almost 100 more difference, but 2465, so it's behind the Furious. $25.83, so it just, even though you're getting almost 100 more than the Furious, the way the Furious stacks up is still, it's still almost powerful version, almost any weapon. So some weapons need a quad. There's a 26. Furious is definitely, they should make playing bloody worth it, you know, because there's really not much of a difference when you have a Furious weapon like the Elder's Mark. Between playing bloodied and playing full health, there's very little difference in the damage. 2643, that's the highest it could get. Still not doing bad. It's going to be right at a minute and 13 seconds. That's still a great time. It's right there with the Furious. Only like a second off, or second and a half off. Better than the Stalkers though. Better than a quad without coffee, but a little bit behind the Furious. I really wish they would and make playing bloody worth it. Like the bonus you get, it should be more than Furious when you want to play, if you're going to risk low health. But yeah, let me know your opinions on that. All right, now let's come back and let's do full health. Here we are at full health. We're using the Furious with our conductors, weapon speed, max action point cost. Everything else is modded the same with the prime, with the large drum in there, and short barrel. We have the same armor except we switch out unyielding for overeaters, but it's still +2 agility. One piece has +2 endurance, and then limit breakers on all the pieces, so we get our crits every second shot. All the buffs are the same. Now, Cern's got some negative effects. We got a magazine. Got a Black Eyed Susan, got a crit buff, Company T. Still a Megavore. Only difference in the build, strength is the same. I did perception's the same. On endurance, I did take 2 points off intelligence and move it into endurance and put ironclad on. And then to make room. That way I utilize instead of nerd rage. And then instead of serendipity, I put junk shield on. But follow through and then +5 legendary agility on top of our agility. Give us a bigger AP pool. And even full health, our AP's at 742. So that's still plenty enough AP to run with our conductors and be able to stay in bats. So we're getting quite a big difference on the damage between that and the blood. It's like 150 difference on the weapon card between the bloodied and the full health Furious. but it's crazy. I mean, crazy. Look, we're getting 24-6. That's what we were getting with the bloody starting off. I mean, full health, there's not a difference anymore between full health and low health and the damage like there used to be. And it's been like that for several updates, and it's still the same. 25-50 hours, we're looking just like we played when we were playing with the bloody, getting the same damage, but we got more health. Now, for the challenge part of it, yeah. It's more challenging playing when you're low health. But as far as our damage, 2,600. That's what we were getting with maxed out, topped out with our bloody build. And that's not getting as much as the low health Furious, but it's getting the same amount of playing low health with a bloody weapon. It's crazy. Furious is crazy the way it stacks. I mean, it's good for all players, I guess. 2,800 on there with the right stacks. We're able to get it up to 2,800, and that is crazy amount of damage on Earl, full health, Furious, annihilating him in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Now, it is 5 seconds off from playing low health with the Furious, so there is a difference, but it's so slight. It's not like it used to be, not at all. They did really well, powerful. The bonus we're getting from Sneak now, it's insane. All right, now let me just show you. You're thinking, I don't got no 4 stars, and I don't got a conductors or pinpointers, or maybe you don't got no limit breakers to put on your armor. How will you fare, running this build when you don't have any 4 stars to run, and all you have is just regular 3-star legendaries? Let me show you real quick. This is for you newer players, or it can be a intermediate player if you don't got no 4-star, no conductors or pinpointers. You just need a regular Elder's Mark, but you do want to change out your 3rd star and put less action point cost. Chinese stealth armor, you ain't got to have the covert scout armor. Get the Chinese stealth armor by finishing the main quest line. You do got to make room. You put blocker at 1 to make room for troublesome pharmacy with the Chinese stealth armor, and move a couple points from intelligence over into endurance. That way you can make room for through hiker. Other than that, everything. Oh yeah, and then we because we don't have as high agility, I did take a point off covert operative and put it into escape orders to make sure that we didn't lose any of our sneak bonuses after a couple runs that were kind of frustrating. It was the best route to go. We will spam some coffee because our AP is not as high, the AP pool, to help us stay locked in VATS for the first part. That way we can, and I will be spamming coffee in between reloads as I need to be able to stay in VATS to maximize the build, to try to get the best time I could with not having no 4 stars, to show you how possible it is. You don't gotta have 4 stars. That stealth is that powerful. The Elder's Mark is that powerful that you can still get a great time on Earl with just regular 3-star legendary weapons and no legendary armor. The only trouble we have using Chinese stealth armor is your AP is not as high. That's why we spam the coffee in the beginning, and you'll see me hit a coffee sometimes in between reloads, like right there, just to give me a little boost with my AP. Other than that, that's the only negative drawback. The Chinese stealth armor is really a great armor. Even playing low health, it's still tanky enough to take on Earls. Still, and you stay invisible the whole time. Now, full health would be a better option if you want to use Chinese stealth armor, really. It's not as tanky as a covert scout, but it can be done even as low health. I didn't probably change a bunch of cards around, so that's why I went with low health, plus I wanted a max damage on it. And you see, it's still getting a great time. It's going to be a little bit behind the other runs because of the struggle with AP. That is the only thing, the reason why it's going to be a little bit behind, because we have to spam a coffee every once in a while, let our AP refresh because we're struggling with AP. But other than that, look at that, 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's still a great time with Earl. So even if you ain't got all the fancy 4 stars, this build will get you through in the event, especially when stealth is involved, you will get max damage and smash everything. All right, now let's compare some of these elders marks, and then we're going to show just how separated it is from the fixer and the assault rifle and the combat shotgun. All right, let's check it out. We got a lot of them there, so we might have to watch a couple times to get the full gist of it. But as you can see, the quad, it takes off. It gets a pretty good lead because they don't have to stop for any reloads. That's why it really does jump ahead, especially when you spam the coffee and you're able to stay locked in vats and empty that clip out. The furious conductors and the bloody conductors are really going neck and neck. And the pinpointers, those three are really pretty close, but the pinpointers does inch away from the other two because it was getting more damage, and it's slowly. It's not much. I mean, like remember in Fallout, it's all in the details, and it's very sometimes minute the difference between weapons. So, and we're talking seconds, and it's not a lot. You can see the quad is going to finish first, obviously. Full health ain't too far behind pinpointers, and look, it was so close. Pinpointers and conductors, boom, but the pinpointers finished, and conductors, and then the bloody, boom. So it was a close race, and then the full health, very close race. Tell me, which one do you think? Which one do you prefer? It really comes out to your play style and what you prefer. If you want more damage, you go to pinpointers, although you got to make sure you have enough AP, and so your AP can refresh. So that is the one drawback. If you got plenty of coffee, like farming coffee, and then go with the quad, you can definitely get a little bit better time whenever you have the coffee. You can go with the conductors, have more of the unlimited vats, a little bit easier play style, and you can go full health or bloody. You want more of a challenge, you can go with the low health. You do have more AP to pull off of. The full health wasn't too far behind it, so it really depends on how you want to play and time you had to invest in it. I mean, I think, take one for the team. The Furious did really good with the conductors. You're able to regen your health, take those hits from Earl, take one from the team, and get followed through. With the pinpointers, like I said, you get like your AP refresh a little bit. It's the one drawback. The Stalkers, not so much so. It's not as versatile. But all right, let's see how far it is separated from other stealth commando weapons. Let's do a fixer. All right, fixer, we gotta go with the quad. We got weapon speed. We got mass action point calls. We got the conductors. We got tweaked automatic barrel, that receiver. That way gives extra crit damage, just like a calibrated receiver. Besides, it's automatic. That's the one negative drawback with the fixer. What's so good about the Elder's Mark is that you can. It's almost like having a quad fixer, but you got weapon speed and you got 75. I mean, so it's really crazy. I mean, when they first came out, the fixer, when the Elder's Mark first came out, the fixer was a little bit better than the Elder's Mark, but it slowly through the last updates has got ahead. And the 22-25 is what we're getting starting off, so it's a little bit behind. Still not a bad weapon to use, but now that especially with the Elder's Mark, you want prime because it's going to give you more range, and there's not an option to have more critical damage. But I'd say prime would be the better way to go. Either way, 2356, so it's getting up there. That's still great damage on Earl. I mean, over 2,000 on critical, 2,300, still great critical damage. Still over halfway, and it's still under a minute. I mean, this run used to take like 7 minutes. After they changed the bosses updates last year to make the bosses health, where they had more health, it took forever to kill Earl with stealth. But now with the bonuses we're getting with stealth from the last update and this update, stealth is back, baby. Even the fixer is a good weapon. It's just, it can't compete with the Elder's Mark. Not with that fire rate it has and ammo capacity it has. Then it can be a Furious. It don't have to be a quad. It is just that far above. I mean, look, we're probably got a quarter left of health. 2407 is the highest we can get. And we'd already been done for almost 30 seconds with the Elder's Mark. It's insane. But if you don't have an Elder's Mark and you have a fixer, you don't got an Elder's Mark yet, your fixer will be more than okay. It'll more than get you by. As you can see, on a team, you would still be doing really good. Even solo, we're still going to get right under 2 minutes. Right, it was close, but it's still under 2 minute time. That's still a good time. So it's still a top-notch weapon. It just can't compete. All right, now let's show you how powerful stealth is with a combat shotgun. All right, look at that, 575 the damage we're getting with the quad. Quad gives us 32 shotgun shells. We got a pinpointers on it. Got weapon speed, minus extra point cost. It does really good. You're gonna be surprised. We're gonna tweak automatic receiver to get more critical damage. A line barrel for the AP cost, and yeah, it is. Stealth is so much of a beast, and we did change up the build. We put Love the Spread, Shotgun Champ, Ground Pounder, and we put awareness on because we're not going to benefit from Downranger. And we're going to benefit from any of the Bullet Storm perks. And then we do have Escape Artist on there. Covert Operative only at 2 because it's going to be a little bit closer. It might take a little bit longer just to make sure we stay in stealth. Other than that, everything else stays the same. We kept take 1 per team on there. But we're not going to be trying to take damage. We will get hit a couple of times and we'll try to utilize. We'll get a little extra boost a couple of times, but it is so crazy, like I said, the amount of damage stealth is boosting. This would have been like a 10-minute run. But now, sit back and watch the power of stealth. But remember, all our damage numbers are times 8 with the shotguns, and then there's 8 bullets. So we're getting 5,784 some of those criticals. That is insane on Earl. Look at that, 6,600 on Earl. Dude, that is crazy. Now when we take on for the team, we'll trigger here in a second. It gets even crazier. But without taking one for the team, we're getting 6,000 on the criticals. So even though the weapon speed is only at like 30, and it's still, look at that, we're over halfway at 40, almost halfway, under a minute. Look, that's 7,600 would take one for the team. Over halfway with under a minute with a quad shotgun. And almost 10,000. That is crazy. It is just chunking away at Earl's health. I mean, it's right in line with the Fixer. That's even crazier. I know it's got a pinpointers on it, so that does help it, but with the weapon speed not being that fast, it's able to maintain with their AP being up high. Look, 9,600. Dude, crazy how good stealth is now in the game. If we could only use stealth in every event, then it would be even more powerful. There's really only with the snake and with the neurological warfare. Those are the only 2 events you really can't use stealth outside, like public events, like Moonshine Jamboree. But yeah, where you can use stealth is definitely OP. I mean, look at the combat shotgun. It should have been under a 2 minute time. I had to kill those couple Wendigos, so it's gonna push us right at 2 minutes. But I mean, that's right in line with the Fixer. Dude, stealth is definitely back and it is king. Now, what are we gonna do when we can't use stealth? Is this build gonna be raid worthy, raid approved? Well, we're gonna take it in there against those snaky poo and see how it fares. But no stealth. Alright, I'm gonna start out with the Furious Conductors with weapon speed, my tactical point cost. Got the Prime still going, with large eject drum. We'll be using our troubleshooters, +2 agility through hackers, limit breakers on Union power armor on every run. But we'll be using same buffs all going. We'll go with more of what cards I used, change up on the next run. Just trying to save time. We do spam some coffee to help us stay locked in VATs for the first 30 seconds. And we're in power armor so we can play bloodied and be able to get our max damage. All we have to do is spam a couple stim packs. Crippling does allow you to get more and more damage. 28-10, and it gives you some free hits whenever he's crippled. And because you cripple him like in 4 seconds, it goes by pretty quick. 31-16 without taking one for the team. Now we're getting over 4,000 with taking one for the team effect. So you spam a couple stim packs, you're good to go. 46-85. That's super good. That's crazy. No stranger numbers. Boom. 41-second time. I jumped backward, land in the green lava. But yeah, that's super crazy, dude. That's 41-second time. That, I mean, no, it's not the best time, like 20-second time or 13-second time, like with the shredder, but that's still super good. A 40-second time. All right, let's check out another variant, the quad. All right, here's the quad. All modded the same way. Weapon speed, got a prime. Same power armor, same buffs going. So in a minute we'll go over all that. The only difference is we got brain guns and we got blocker at 2. We had to take a point off intelligence and a point off agility. We got +5 agility added to our 15. We had lead belly and ironclad from our fireproofs. We don't need it. We added enforcer and gorilla at 2, and then we added instead of serendipity, we put junk shield. We got take 1 for the team. We got +4 legendary agility on top of our 15 agility because they took that point over in strength, so we could bring the big guns. Coffee is important with the quad because without more ammo capacity, it's definitely harder for the conductors to keep up. I think Furious is a little better because unless you're doing an event, because it gives you time to, by the time you empty out your clip, you're going to be, AP will be in a good place and it'll refresh after you reload. But this is my opinion. Crippling him down, we're getting 2603, a little bit behind, a couple hundred behind the Furious. We get some 3000s now. You're getting a good time. I mean, 4200. So yeah, we're just a little bit behind the Furious. What's to be expected? We got more stacks. Say, look, right here is where the Furious, they struck the island. So, you know, there's always variables that determine, you know. We also was running out of AP right there, but 50-second time, when he struck the island, he kind of staggered us. So different variables. Time can't be the only thing we go by, but Furious did have the better time, but we will compare them. All right, let's do a pinpointers. All right, pinpointers got the same armor. Now this, I swapped back and forth with perception. I went with ground pounder at 3 instead of downranger. I actually had a better time with it, and that's why I kept this one. So you can swap that downranger. I didn't see too much of a difference. Faster reload really helped out, but you know, ironclad and lead belly instead of having fireproof. They're not really benefiting from fireproof and ricochet because it does ricochet back as poison and take 1 for the team +5 legendary agility on top of our 15 agility. That would be how I would run it. The quick reload just seems like it just helps your time out better. 36, 66, 37, 36, insane amount of numbers on those criticals. And the fire rate of the Elder Mark is really what sets it apart. Those numbers are coming so quick. I mean, you're just tearing through 5120 with take 1 for the team. Only problem with the pinpointers is that you do kind of struggle with AP a little bit but with Company T and Hard Lemonade, you're able to, your AP's able to regen. So right there, I mean, look, we could have had him at 40 seconds, but we ran out of AP. But we got him right at 49 seconds. I mean, that's still super good. But I say that's where the conductor does give you an advantage running with it. All right, let's check out full health. Here we are. Full health, the Furious with the weapon speed, action point, conductors on it, all modded the same way. We do put kinetic dynamo on our chest piece instead of emergency protocols. That way we get some action points back. Now the advantage that we have with the full health, we don't have to spam stim packs. We do put ironclad at 3 because we don't have to have no radical, and we do take our 2 points instead of moving it around. We just put it in powered smith off nerd rage. But everything else stayed the same. You can swap it out how you want it to. We can also invest more in a gunsmith, you don't fight repairing your weapon. Alright, we'll get this crippling effect. Full health is definitely about launching with the right weapon, like the Gatling plasma, even with the Boss minigun. Look, 2914, dude. That's full health. That is insane. Look, 30 seconds. We got him over halfway down. Tricky part is like 4,100, 4232 would take one for the team, so insane amount of damage. Don't really struggle with AP too much, man. Kinetic Domino is really helping us. Like I said, with the Furious 2, every time we reload, we're 4874 our AP will regen. So, wow. I mean, it's a little bit behind the low health, but it would have been better than a pinpointer's low health. Very powerful. All right, let's do a bloody. So our bloody weapon speed exploits off with the conductor zone, all modded the same way. All the same buffs going, same loadout. Let's give us a comparison. We know the Eldermark is the best stealth weapon. We've proved that with our Earl. Nothing else even came close to it, so there's no reason to even show you a fixer or a assault rifle. Man, they get like a minute and a half time on the snake, but 2650. What to do outside of stealth is what we're comparing now. Which one is truly the best? 3,055. It's more in line with the quad, but the quad's extra stacks from during the big guns with extra damage you get from the bloodied, but it's still behind the Furious, even the full health Furious. 4152. Then we get up to 4,200 crit. Like I said, bloody is just not the same anymore. 4229. So like I said, it's in line with the quad with its extra stacks from Bullet Storm from bring the big guns, the extra damage you get with the bloody. It winds up being under a minute, 57-second time. So it's not bad. I mean, not bad. All right, let's compare them all. Let's see. All right, here we go. I'll start a little slow. We all use crippling on every one, and then the quad kind of takes off a little bit. Seems like it, you know, because they don't have to reload, kind of gets a jump start. But then the pinpointers comes up and from behind, just getting more damage. As you can see, it takes a really clear, solid lead over all of them. But at the end, you know, it does struggle with AP, having let the AP regen, and a more efficient approach is the conductors. Even though you're not getting as much damage, it's more efficient because you're getting more, landing more batch criticals. You're staying in batch. You're not running out of AP. And so where it might got outperformed by damage by the pinpointers, it did outperform the pinpointers by efficiency. So, but pinpointers did outperform it against Earl. If you don't struggle with the AP, you know, pinpointers definitely the way to go. The most efficient way is with the conductors. Quad, it outperformed all of them against Earl, but going against the snakes with the longer it takes to hit his head, the distance, it kind of struggled with the AP, so it didn't do as well. All right, let's go see the Guardian. Well, I want to take a long time on this. This is going to be the pinpointers. We are going to use bullet shield, and you don't have to use bullet shield. You can just go with your make sure your center max is on. We got bullet shield and we got ricochet, but you can, you know, just go like your black powder rifle or your sledgehammer that already has crippling, and then put crippling on it. We went with just a minigun with crippling troubleshooters to get a little bit extra with bullet shield, but in my testing, it wasn't too big of a difference between using either the black powder rifle or dragon and having bullet shield. I just went with trying to have more, try to get the shield down as quick as I could. Yeah, it's really up to you. Either way, pretty efficient. All right. Here we are at the pinpointers. We're getting over 9,000 on the damage. I'll make sure you got to take one team in your follow through because it will trigger both of them. 9 seconds and 14. It's super quick. All right, let's see what the conductors will do. All right, here goes the conductors are out. We'll see what, we'll show you what to be expecting. We fast forward everything to this point. Getting good damage, almost be able to do the whole clip, but just a few milliseconds slower than the pinpointers. So super close. All right, now let's see what the quad does. Here you are with the quad. I mean, these are such milliseconds. I mean, you can choose whatever playstyle you choose. I'm just showing you that any one of them are going to be efficient against the Guardian. And the right setup, the Guardian is not that hard. We fast forward everything just to get right to the part where we shield's already down, 9.84 seconds. So a little bit behind the Furious Conductor, a little behind the Furious Pinpointers. But if you go with the quad, then, you know, still going to be getting Guardian down pretty quick. All right, we're gonna do a full health real quick. Only difference is we can take nerd rage, put it in a gunsmith. But I'd recommend if you're using Elder's Mark because it breaks so quick. But you can also move it into power user and save on your fusion cores, however you want to do it. We're moving to endurance. It's a little bit behind, 11 seconds and 11.87 seconds, but it's still a valid option. We're going full health with the Elder's Mark. All right, let's recap. All right, with the recap, and stealth is back. How powerful and amazing it is. But Elder's Mark is the top weapon to have in stealth by far in any means. Its fire rate is just insane. Nothing else even comes close. I know we didn't put no bow stuff in here. The bow is pretty powerful too with the stealth, but nothing can keep up with Elder's Mark when it comes to stealth. And then when it comes to which one, it's gonna kind of be up to you. It's whatever you choose, your playstyle, whatever fits you best. I think the quad is really great for events. In my personal opinion, though, the Furious with conductors on there, playing low health is the most efficient way because your agility is high for your stealth, and you have a big AP pool to pull off of. It's potato. It's your wasteland. We're just living in it, so however you want to play will be A-okay. You don't even got to have covert scout armor. I do recommend grinding for it, getting it. If you don't, I would use Chinese stealth armor. It would get you through anything. And when it comes to your power armor, if you don't have any troubleshooter power armor, I would go with whatever you can get. I would probably play full health. If you don't got troubleshooters, you're going through the Guardian, it'd be easier to stay alive. And yeah, you don't have to have limit breakers. You saw that. You don't have to have any force guards on your Elder's Mark. You can just build to get you through with the Elder's Mark, cover scout armor, and just some regular power armor, and you can go through any event and smash it. Alright, on to the special loadout. You got an 8 in strength, 10 in perception, 5 in endurance, 3 in charisma, 5 in intelligence, 15 in agility, and 10 in luck. 15 in agility is important because you're able to swap your agility and put it on there and take it off whenever you're going against a snake or neurological warfare or like Moonshine Jamboree, certain events where you can't use stealth. You take off your follow through, put your extra agility on there, and then you'll have more AP to pull off of. Over in the specials, you will need 20 points to fill the build out. No matter which 20, I'd recommend these. And then take one for the team to get that 40% multiplicative bonus, and then a follow through to get the sneak 40% multiplicative bonus. You saw that powerful it was going against Earl at the beginning, getting that boost to our damage, having both of these going, and you can do that. Neurological warfare, you might want to take off, instead of agility, put on electric absorption, so that way you can be able to tank and absorb and heal off all electricity. But other than that, I would swap it out with agility when you can't use sneak. Now over in the build, we'll have blocker maxed out. You definitely need that to take less melee damage. Scatter shot, and easy target, and tormentor working together to give you crippling damage. Then we have bullet storm and lock and load to get 10 stacks of bullet storm and lock and load. We don't lose only half of them whenever we reload. Unless you have a quad, that's what I would run with. When you have a quad, you won't have to make room for bring the big guns. You'll have to take blocker at 2, take a point off of either downranger or concentrated fire, and then take this point off a gunsmith and put it over here to have your strength at 15, and then you can fit in and bring the big guns. So you'll be able to get 20 stacks. It does give you more damage, but you will have to sacrifice a couple things if you go with the quad. Over in perception, we got concentrated fire maxed out. Now if we're going against the Guardian, you can swap out downranger if you have that maxed out, or your concentrated fire, whichever one, and put your center mascus on there to get that extra damage to the torso. Or you're going against the Titan, you want to put your center mascus on there to get that extra damage. Plus fast fighter for reloads, tank killer gets armor penetration. Downranger, this could be swapped out and put on ground pounder. I did swap around, messing around. Sometimes ground, if you want more damage, keep on the downranger, but if you want a faster reload, smoother, then put on ground pounder. You're not going to feel the difference not having the downranger on there, unless it's just more of a mental thing. You know, you're missing that extra 20%. It bothers you, then go with a downranger, or go with the smoother, more efficient with ground pounder. Number cruncher boosted our damage up. Life carrier giving us more health, making us more tanky. Iron stomach giving us more damage and energy resistance. Natural resistance give us a little bit more to our fire and a poison elemental. Thirst quencher, definitely a big boost to our AP. Definitely need that. Fireproof for tankiness from explosions and fire. Radical for carry weight, and starch genes to keep your mutations. Now, if you're playing full health, the radical can be turned into ironclad, and then if you don't, you can take either both points of nerd rage and put in gunsmith, and you have a gunsmith at 3, or you can take 1 point over here, put ironclad at 2, and gunsmith at 2. But you'll have 2 points to move around when you're playing full health. Strange in numbers to boost your mutations. Tenderizer to get that extra boss damage. You get multiple adds up. Batteries included. We need this because then you got to have power warmer to be able to play the rage. Then really efficiently, and so yeah, we need this to carry over cores and any other weapons we have. So now, if you play a lot of stealth and you're not doing no raids, and you can do without batteries included. You can swap those points out and invest it into. And whatever you want to invest it into, more into gunsmith, or maybe into first aid or field surgeon. Just some options there, but I mean everybody has to jump in power warmer if you're doing raids or neurological warfare. I do recommend. Now over in agility, we got covert operative and Mr. Sandman giving us a big boost to our sneak damage. But if you can't get sneak damage, then I'd recommend if there's only one enemy, like going against a snake. Then I'd recommend going with Enforcer at 3 to get extra crippling, and Gorilla at 2. Whenever he does come down close to you, you get a little extra damage. Or if you're in an event where there's multiple targets, then I would have Gunfu at 3 and then Gorilla at 2 whenever you can't run Snake. That way you get a really efficient VATS and just swap and just smash and kill a bunch of targets seamlessly and effortlessly. All our onslaught mechanics to give us a boost with our onslaught. We got Grimmer Spring to get a little axe point regen when we kill something. Bitter criticals gives us extra 10% critical damage. Ricochet, very powerful card. Reflecting back even the poison off the snake, if anything that's thrown at us. Ranged. 4-leaf clover, working with critical savvy. When we get a missing VATS, the next shot will be a critical. And critical savvy, if you got limit breakers, which you don't need, I showed you, but if you have it, then you'll get a crit every second shot. It is a little bit better having limit breakers. Quick hands to get a free reload, which works with your bullet storms, and then that way it don't cost you a reload stack. You can get your stacks up higher when you have quick hands, so having that maxed out, definitely recommend. Good assault is always because I have a lot of food buffs. Now if you're a newer player, you don't have a lot of food buffs, and you don't have no serums to cancel negative effects, then run quick hands at 2 and class freak at 3. If you're having a problem with your side effects of your serums, I just cancel mine. I went over the legendary. So yeah, tell me what you think. Do you like playing stealth? Have you played a lot of stealth? What is your favorite Elder Lord? Which one do you think is the best? Like I said, I think the Furious with the conductors on there is the best. That's my opinion with low health. But as you saw, they're all pretty close, and this depends on your playstyle. It's your wasteland. We're just living in it, and yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. Sorry it was a long video, a lot of material. Still a lot of stuff I didn't put in there. Right now you'll be seeing the build's tanking up to take on the Titan by itself. You can play stealth with the Titan. The only thing you can't play stealth against is the Snake, a couple events like Moonshine Jamboree and Neurological Warfare. You can do it in every other event, and when you can do it, it is one of the most OP builds in Fallout right now. Very powerful. So, hope y'all thrive and survive out there to the Big Red. I'll see y'all in the next one.